Hey girls, it's me, Austin Theory. Austin Theory. Hey, thanks for agreeing to cosplay as the way with me.
We agreed to cosplay as the way for a photo, but I never agreed to be emotionally scarred from your attire, or lack thereof.
Hey, I'm just trying to be as accurate as possible when dressing like Austin Theory. And guess what? He wears trunks just like this. Hey, I even shaved my face just like him to give me the whole Three Musketeers vibe that he goes with.
I think you look great, Mayor Aaron.
Why, thank you, Tamina. That's very sweet. And nice costume dressed as Johnny Gargano. I love it. And you know what? It fits you because out of all of us, you have the best heart, even if it's a rebel one.
Cut the mushy talk, and let's just take the stupid picture already. I feel dumb in these wings.
Personally, I kind of think you look like a Victoria's Secret model with those wings.
Seriously?
No.
You do look very beautiful wearing those wings, Co-Mayor Alexa.
Tamina, you don't have to lie.
Okay, you do look a little weird.
Hey girls, where's Diva Marie? She's always running late, not wearing a watch. But seriously, I am so excited to see what she looks like dressed as Indy Hartwell. And we can't take this photo without her. What's that noise?
Oh no.
Sorry I'm late. I was busy making out with my new boyfriend, Sexy Dexy.
Oh, gross! Oof. But wait, what's a sexy Dexy?
Yeah, by cosplaying as Indy Hartwell, that means that my new boyfriend is Sexy Dexy.
Yeah, I don't really think that's how that works, Diva Marie. Plus, you're not even wearing an Indy Hartwell costume. I was really looking forward to that. But you know what? It's okay. At least you didn't use the magic cabinet to bring him to life.
Major plot twist. I did use the magic cabinet and I did bring him to life. So what you're looking at is a walking, talking, staring, real boyfriend.
What? I told you to stop using that magic cabinet to try to bring these male wrestling figures to life so you could have a living boyfriend. Plus, I thought you were seeing Jungle Boy.
OMG, Mayor Aaron. Jungle Boy was solo last week. My new man is Sexy Dexy.
Stop calling him that, please. It's just weird, a little weird, okay? But I don't think the magic cabinet actually worked here. Oh God, he just moved. All right, girls, let's just gather up and get this picture. Something about that guy gives me the jeebies. All right, girls, and Dexy, on the count of 3. 1, 2. Welcome to LumberJillville. Women's wrestling lives here. And welcome to today's review of Basic Series 131 Candice LeRae, both the regular and the Chase version. Now, first off, I just want to say that I did order Bianca Belair from Series 131, but I got a notification a couple weeks ago that that figure for some reason was delayed almost a month. Who knows if it'll actually be that long, so maybe they're making some improvements to it, I'm not sure. But either way, I made a separate order with just Candice, so that I could get this review out, I could give y'all a closer look, and as soon as Bianca gets shipped out to me, I'll review her. So that being said, these figures look like a lot of fun. Let's take a closer look. Alright, so starting off with the packaging, now I have said before, and I'm going to continue to stand by that I do prefer this new style packaging as far as the basics go. I think that new color scheme and design really makes these basics pop and stand out more than they ever did before. But I have gone on record to say that I really don't like that new style Elite packaging, even though it's basically the same color scheme as this. I just think they feel a little cheap, the cardboard feels thinner, and I just miss the old white base color, boxy style. I just felt that those were more solid. But as far as basics go, I really do like this new design on the basics. So taking a closer look here, I like how we have that image of the superstar with their name right underneath. And then up in the corner, we have the series with this blue line going down the side. Looks real clean, like I mentioned before. And on the back here, we have a nice big image of the superstar. It has her signature move, and then their classification, which she is classified as a technician. And then the rest of the series. So yeah, I know a lot of people don't really display basics, but I'm going to be honest with you. Like, I might start displaying all the women's basics in this new style packaging because I really do like how it looks. But with that being said, let's open them up and take a closer look. You know what? Let's just do it on camera. Let's just do it on camera. See how hard it is to take out. I'm sure it's not that hard, so you just rip that off there, and then we got the plastic bubbles going up to the knee. We call this the reverse Han Solo and Carbonite. That's what we call that. And by we, I mean nobody. Okay, so we got one Candace out, and then let's get the other one. I usually don't film the unboxing itself, because I'm usually going to cut my right out. So, I don't know, some people might like this. All right. So taking a closer look at these figures, I mean, right off the bat, I'm going to say that they're a lot of fun. That's what I said in the intro. And these bright colors and even the unique attire of the chase and what it's based off of, it's just a lot of fun. I think it's really cool that they made her in these attires, and they really do stand out. Now, are they missing some details? Absolutely, especially in the tops. And we'll look at that whenever we take a closer look at the attire. And I know that when these images were first shown, a lot of people were tearing these figures apart. I think there was some confusion here with the chase as far as that headband goes. I don't think a lot of people thought that was a headband. I think they thought it was part of her hair for some reason. But, you know, like I said, we'll take an up close look at these figures. But in all honesty, like looking at these from a distance, my first impressions, they're pretty good. I think they do a pretty good job of representing Candace. And like I said, there's little details missing, which we'll cover. But either way, I think these are a lot of fun. So let's take a closer look, starting off with that regular version. WWE Basic Series 131 Candice LeRae regular version. This attire is from the February 17th, 2021 edition of NXT, where the team of Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart would defeat the team of Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell. So taking a closer look at this face scan here, now there's definitely a lot to unpack here. Now, do I think the scan is as bad as a lot of people are saying online? I honestly don't. Now, do I think it's great? I honestly don't. I think it's somewhere in the middle there, and there's definitely a lot to unpack, so let's dive into the details here, and let's start off with the positives. So her lip color is like a metallic teal type color, and that's awesome. That pops out. I absolutely love it. I think it looks amazing and matches her lip color on the packaging and is very accurate, so that's a nice little intricate detail they added. Also, her hair color is a metallic type purple. It might be hard to get that shine on the camera here, but it is a metallic type purple color, and I love it. I like it a lot more than that pastel solid purple color we got in her Elite 87. Now on to the negatives. Now, I really don't think this scan is as bad as it appears. Now, that sounds crazy, but hear me out. So, from my experience, most recently with that Showdown 2-pack Sasha Banks compared to Basic 128, like that was the same scan and same sculpt, but for some reason, the Basic scan printed on cheaply, I guess. Like, I don't know if they use a different ink, or maybe they use a different plastic for the face to where those face scans don't translate perfectly on the basic figures compared to the elites, because as far as I can tell, here I'll put an image here on the left, that is Elite Series 87. That's her scan and sculpt. Now, like I mentioned before, if that scan's printed on even a little bit off, it makes a big difference. And I do have 2 more Candaces coming whenever Bianca comes, so, you know, I'll give y'all an update on that. But it does look drastically different, but when I'm looking up close, that sculpt is the exact same. And as far as I can tell, the scan is too. So I don't understand why they look so drastically different. Like I said, it might be the ink that they use on the basics. It might be the type of plastic. I don't know, but it does look different. But if you look at this scan here from different angles, it's not horrible. I think what might make it stand out is above her eyeball where it would be, there's like a ledge, an elevated ledge of flesh. Now, what that's there for is when they do the face scan, if the female superstar has long eyelashes, the eyelashes go up on that ledge, and it looks really good when it's printed on right. But my regular skin here might be a little low or something, because you can see where that flesh protrudes above her eyeball. So yeah, it looks a little off. I mean, I've never been so torn on a face scan in my life, y'all. That's why I said I'm kind of right in the middle. Because, yeah, I definitely don't think it's spot on, that's for sure. But I don't think it's as horrible as all the comments I've seen online about it. Now, with that being said, let's take a closer look at her attire. So moving on down to the attire and the body sculpt, I think the sculpt is perfect for her. Definitely looks like Candace. And as far as the attire choice goes, it's very bright, very vibrant, and represents her character, her overall gimmick very well. So I think that's a good choice. But it is missing a pretty glaring issue. However, I understand why they went the route that they went. So let's start off talking about that. And that's in the top. Okay. So what this top is missing are the little tears that go across the chest, where you can see kind of that black bra underneath. I mean, it's a pretty major part of this attire that's completely missing. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, let me pull out the Elite here. So it's kind of like that. It has those tears going across with that black bra underneath, and that's what this should have. However, I actually am glad they didn't include that, because hear me out. With these basics, they weren't going to add the sculpting they used on the Elite. So they'd have to do brand new sculpting. That's not going to happen. So instead, what they would have had to do is paint that. And how you paint flesh-colored tears going across with a black bra mold underneath, I just don't think there's any good way for that to come out on a basic. So I think they made the safe decision to just omit it completely, and I do think that's the best route. It is kind of a bummer it's not there, but I totally get why they didn't include that, and I think it is the smarter decision overall. Now, taking a close look at this top, it is all just painted on with a little sculpting between the chest. We do have that white going up. Like I said, it should have those tears, but I get why it doesn't. We got that nice tealish type blue that goes over the shoulders, around the back. There's no design on the back there. And then we have this black triangle pattern with little silver intricate studs, which is nice. Now, her right hand and wrist, what's really cool is she has this hand tape and then silver wrist tape. And on the left wrist, she has teal wrist tape, so that's cool. And her bottom, she always wears them up a little bit. And here, it looks great the way that they painted that on there, starting in her midsection. We have that real nice cross pattern design there. I mean, it looks really good. And we have white on the sides. On the back, we have that teal along with the black lines. And then moving on down, she has just plain white knee pads and then short black boots. So, honestly, it is kind of disappointing because they did an excellent job. And I mean an excellent job getting this attire to be as vibrant, colorful, and accurate as possible. But it is missing one of the main detail features, and that's those little rips in the center of the chest. And it's disappointing they're not there, but I don't know how they would have done that with paint application and made it look good. So I think they made the right choice here, even if it's kind of disappointing it's not there. WWE Basic Series 131 Candice LeRae Chase version. This attire is from NXT TakeOver In Your House, which took place on June 13th, 2021. On this night, The Way would cosplay, paying tribute to the Clique for a backstage photo shoot. Candace dressed as the 1-2-3 Kid, Johnny Gargano dressed as Shawn Michaels, Austin Theory as Diesel, and Indy Hartwell as Razor Ramon. Fun fact, Johnny Gargano was the only one of the four to have a match on the card. Alright, so I'm going to be honest with you. I have all three of my Candice LeRae figures in front of me. I have the Elite 87 and then the two basics I'm reviewing today. And each one looks different. Like, as far as the scan goes. It looks like a different scan for each one. Okay? It's driving me wild. I don't know how it's supposed to look, honestly. So, yeah, I'll show you what I mean. I'll do a side-by-side comparison between all three here coming up, and you can kind of be the judge yourself, and let me know which scan you think looks the best, because like I said, they're all very similar, but different at the same time. They almost look like they're three sisters and not one person. Anyway, moving on to this Chase version scan, I think it might be a little better than my regular version scan, and I say that because looking at it from like this angle, I mean, that looks just like Candace. Like, that's spot on. Okay, but when you look at it straight, maybe not, and then over here, not so much. But we look at it from one side, and that looks just like Candice LeRae. They did an excellent job there, so yeah, I've never been so confused and torn about a scan, so I'm really interested to read the comments and see what y'all think about the scans. Now, the lips are a different color. They're a darker shade here, which is really cool. Like I mentioned on the regular version, they were a bright metallic teal, and here they're a darker color. And obviously what stands out on this figure is the purple headband. Now, this was when she cosplayed as the 1-2-3 Kid the rest of the way, cosplayed as the Clique. It was so cool. And let me just tell you, there's not a figure, I think it might be at the top of my want list, besides an Ultimate Edition Sasha Banks from NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. Right behind that would be Indy Hartwell as an Elite in that Razor Ramon inspired attire. How amazing would that be? We need an Indy figure. We do. And to have her dressed as Razor, okay, I'm going off on a tangent. But either way, here's Candace dressed as the 123 kid. And the purple headband does look better in person. I think online a lot of people didn't know that this was a look for her. And I saw some comments thinking that the purple headband before was part of the hair because the images showed the purple going all the way up to the hairline, right? And it looked almost the same color as her hair. Here it does look a little different in person. The hair may be a little lighter than the purple there. Like I said, I'm colorblind. I'm trying here, but it does look like it might be a little different. But the headband looks good. I think they did a good job here with that headband. I thought that was a big concern online. So we do have that same sculpt once again. And just like the face scan, as far as the hair color goes, I have no idea if it's the same as the regular version. Y'all will have to let me know. I look at it in different lights. Sometimes it looks the same, sometimes different. So it's hard for me to tell. I think that really is my color blindness kicking in there for that. But either way, I think this scan looks pretty good, especially from this angle there. But with that being said, let's move on to the attire. Alright, so just like that regular version of Candace in this series, it's missing some pretty important details on the top. However, I understood why it wasn't included in that regular version. Those tears going across with the black bra underneath would have been nearly impossible to replicate with paint application. It would have looked sloppy, and they're not going to put new sculpting or molding on a women's basic, so I get why they completely avoided that design in general. I think that works. But here, I feel like there's different routes they could have taken to make the top look more accurate, and it kind of drives me nuts. So the top here, if you look at pictures of what it's supposed to look like, so she's dressed as the 123 kid. The rest of the way, we're dressed as some other clique members. And in the top, in this triangle, so this lower part of this triangle here, it should be a see-through purple mesh with a black bra underneath. Now, hear me out. I get that doing that with paint application, that would have been nearly impossible, just like the regular version. But I think a solution that would have made this figure look a lot better, a lot more accurate, even if not completely, would have looked better than just keeping it plain purple, is if they use this mesh, this white mesh pattern that's in the bottoms on the front and on the back. If they would have filled that triangle with that pattern, I think it would have made it look 1,000% better. So I know it wouldn't have been completely screen accurate, but they're not going to be able to apply like a see-through purple mesh with the black bra underneath. They wouldn't be able to do that with paint application. But if they would have just done this mesh pattern on the top, oh, it would have made a big difference. So that's just what I think. That's my opinion. But either way, I mean, they did put a lot of attention to detail in this attire. It's just that one thing that's missing. It's a little frustrating, especially because on the back, there's so much detail back here that I wish they would have eliminated that and put it on the front because no one's going to display their Candace like this, right? But either way, let's take a closer look. So that top is just a solid purple all around with a yellow line going up forming a triangle with a red border. We have way printed on the back, which is accurate. I believe the only thing that might not be accurate is it should have a red border around it, but that works. That's okay. Moving on down to the bottom. The bottoms are painted pretty darn intricately and clean. Nice yellow and red patterns throughout. We have that pixie logo with the red border. And once again, we have that mesh pattern I was talking about on the front and on the back. And we have that way logo on the back. Moving on down, she has black knee pads and short black boots. She also has red wrist tape. So yeah, it is cool that we got a figure that represents this pretty iconic photo shoot or iconic night where the way dressed as the clique. And I would like to see those in elite form. And hopefully they try this figure again in elite form because I think they could make it look a lot more accurate. But in all honesty, if they would have done something different, just add that mesh pattern to that top, I think this figure would have been a dang amazing or near amazing figure as far as attire goes for these women's wrestling figures. But it's a little disappointing it's missing that. So here they are, the Candice LeRae sisters, everybody. But all jokes aside, I'm confused. I'm confused because I understand with the female figures, I've said this so many times, that it's so important with that TrueFX face scan technology that the scans are printed on exactly how they should. You know, the female figures have smaller facial structures, and if that scan's printed off even a little bit off, it looks bonkers. But here, I honestly can't tell which one's right, which one's not, because they all look similar, but also different at the same time. It's crazy to me. Crazy to me. So if I had to choose a favorite scan, it would probably be the Elite. But like I mentioned before, there's been something weird going on with basics and elites. Like I mentioned with that basic 128 Sasha and that Showdown 2-pack Sasha, as far as I could tell, they had the exact same scan, exact same sculpt, but the face on that basic 128 looks drastically worse. And I've also had that recently with my Bianca Belair, so I don't understand if the ink quality is different when they print on the face scans on the basics, or if the plastic quality is different on the basics compared to the elites. But for some reason, you know, that's been a recurring issue. So I don't understand. I don't get it. But either way here, you know, like I mentioned, they all look like Candice LeRae, or that they're related to Candice LeRae. But they all look like different people, in my opinion. It's weird. Really weird. Now, if I had to choose which one I think is the best figure overall, I mean, that's an easy choice. I'm going to go with that elite, you know. I think those new basics definitely bring something to the table as far as real bright, colorful attire. That regular version is really appealing to the eye. I think that metallic green lipstick is a nice addition, and I think it's a pretty cool looking figure. And in contrast, that Chase version of Basic 131 is also a really cool figure, considering it's her tribute attire to the 123 kid, Sean Waltman. But, like I mentioned, I mean, it's hands down the elite for me. I think the elite scan is the best in my opinion. But like I mentioned before, I can't tell. I've never been so baffled, so confused by a face scan that I can't tell if it's absolutely horrible or if it's great. I have no idea. But yeah, now obviously you can see the hair color is drastically different, and I'm going to need y'all's help out there watching. You know, I always say how I'm colorblind, but the regular version and the Chase version, the hair looks maybe a little bit different to me. I mean, it's obviously different than the Elite. The Elite is like a pastel purple, but as far as the hair color goes for the two new basics, I can't tell if they're a little bit different or the same. I feel like that regular version might have a little more metallic purple in it. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, if you're looking to have one Candace represented in your collection, I would definitely go with the Elite. It's really cool. She comes with that entrance jacket accessory that Comair Alexa was wearing in the intro. But I prefer to display her without it because I think the attire is beautifully sculpted. And it's nice that we do get the full detail in her attire. So yeah, I think the Elite is by far her best figure. I think the two basics are neat additions and a lot of fun, but not the best execution. And here's one last look at WWE Basic Series 131, Candice LeRae. So just a quick reminder that my basic scoring scale is different than my elite scale, my unrivaled, unmatched, and so on. So just keep that in mind. If you're looking to compare these to maybe some other figures I've reviewed on the channel that are in the same scale, check out my Championship Showdown Series 9 2-pack, Sasha vs. Bayley, because those were both scored in that basic scale, and they were both two of the best basics I've reviewed in a while. So you could always look at that video to kind of compare and contrast. So giving these two a score is hard. And like I said, I've mentioned it time and time again in this review, I can't figure out this face scan. I can't. I cannot. Now, I am getting two more Candaces, one more Chase, one more regular. That's going to come with that Bianca whenever Bianca gets shipped out. So I'll be able to do an updated YouTube video or maybe an Instagram post and kind of show y'all what I think the scan is supposed to look like. And I say that because I can't tell which one is printed on right, which one's printed on off. It's usually really easy to notice if the scan's printed on off or if it's on how it should. But here, I can't tell because they don't look drastically bad, but they look so different. It's weird. Really weird. But after staring, and I mean staring at these two figures, I think I've discovered that I like the regular version scan better. Now, when I first posted pictures of these two on my Instagram when they were MOC, the regular version looked crazy. The eyes were big. It looked weird. But after opening them up and looking at them, really taking it in, I do like the scan on the regular version better. Like I said, I'll give y'all an update on the scans whenever I get my other two Candaces in. But I just had to get that out there. We're not going to talk any more about the scans because I can't figure out if they're correct, I guess you could say. But with that being said, I give WWE Basic Series 131 Candice LeRae regular version a score of a 7 out of 10. This figure is a lot of fun. It really is a lot of fun. And this is an iconic look, iconic colors for Candice LeRae. So I'm really glad we got her in figure form in these colors. Now, is it perfect? Absolutely not. You know, it sucks that she is missing that design in the top, but like I mentioned before, that would have been near impossible to replicate in basic form. So I'm kind of glad that they did choose not to attempt it because that would have looked sloppy probably. But what we got here is a lot of fun. What I really love about this figure, the little details here. The metallic teal lipstick that's like sparkly, it's amazing. It really is. And also the darker purple with a little bit of a metallic shine in the hair looks great. And the overall colors of this figure really pop and stand out. If I'm putting this Candace on the NXT Women's shelf, it looks like Candace from afar. Very signature look for her. So I think it's a cool, really cool figure here. Now, with that being said, I give Basic Series 131 Candice LeRae Chase version a score of a 6 out of 10. There's just not a whole lot going on here. I mean, I like that they chose to represent that iconic attire where her and the Way dressed as the Clique, and she was representing the 1, 2, 3 kid in her attire. But it's missing that detail on the top that I feel like there were routes they could have taken to make it look more accurate. And with that not included, it's just kind of bland, kind of boring. Now, if I put this on my shelf with all my NXT women, it really doesn't stand out in my opinion, right? So I wish they would have made this one in elite form just because it's a more, I don't know, a different, unique attire. And then they could have made Indy and Razor Ramon attire, you know, Austin Theory as Diesel. That would have been amazing. Maybe they still will, who knows. But yeah, so I think the execution here wasn't perfect, and it's kind of a letdown. So, yeah, I think they're both pretty good figures in their own right. You know, they're above average for sure, but they're definitely not great, but they're not horrible. However, if you're looking to have one Candice LeRae in your collection, I would 1000% go for that Elite Series 87. You know, not only is it cool that you get that entrance vest, but the fact that the attire has a lot more detail to it, it's a lot more intricately painted, I think that's definitely the go-to Candace. So, yeah, these basics are okay. Thanks for stopping by LumberJillville. Women's wrestling lives here. For a first look at all future women's wrestling figure reviews, make sure to hit subscribe and become an official resident of LJV today. Also hit that bell for notifications so you know when I post my next video. Now with that being said, I have a lot of really exciting figure reviews coming up, so stay tuned. Have a great night, y'all.